was here, I mentioned that I'd given a lecture at Toronto University on Buddhism, medicine, and psychology. And now this is just the beginning of the using of some of these techniques, which are not particularly religious. Any religion can make use of these, to the point that it does have a huge influence, a positive influence on people's mental health and also physical well-being. And hopefully that some of you are in the mental health and also physical health service, and hopefully you'll be able to use some of these techniques, not just for yourself, but for your clients and for your patients. They are very simple, cheap, and highly effective, which is one of the reasons it's a great privilege for me to share and teach these things for you, because they can help people where often conventional treatments like medication doesn't help, and where that could anecdote very recently. Obviously, I have many students, and many of those are doctors serving in hospitals. And even a couple of weeks ago, one of my students, who was a young doctor, she was working in a ward where one of her patients had severe anxiety. So bad she was hospitalized, and because of her anxiety had great difficulty in breathing. And being a medical practitioner, she followed the usual routine of prescribing all types of medication. Now, one after the other, but nothing worked, and also some of those medications had adverse side effects. And she was at the last type of medication she could administer, and nothing was working. So she tried one of my techniques. And the following morning, she just gave this little technique to this patient in the afternoon. And the following morning, "How are you today?" "Oh, I'm cured. I know I can breathe. I can leave now." And she said, "If only I could have had permission to use that technique at the very beginning, instead of wasting all this time, wasting a bed and all this expensive medication." And this is a technique of not just mindfulness, which hopefully you've heard and read about and seen so many times. I'm not going to repeat the exercises which you've had from mindfulness already, but to add this extra little technique called kindness. And because as a Buddhist monk who's been practicing meditation for so many years now, almost 50 years, and also teaching meditation, for 40 years, and you know about the mind, you know how the mind interacts with the body, and you know that mindfulness is great, but it is not enough. You do really need this extra little piece of kindness on top of mindfulness to really get the full benefit from these ancient techniques of training the mind to help the body. So, the story which will tell you how this works was a story, I may have told this last year, but I'm not sure because I'm getting old now, and I forget what I said last year. And anyway, if you were here last year and you've come again today, it means in a university, it means you didn't pass last year. So you have to come and do the course again. I always say my job as a teacher is to get rid of people. So I'm trying to get rid of each one of you so you can learn everything which I know, and then you can get out of here because you've nothing more to learn. That's the whole point of being a teacher, trying to get rid of people. So I'm trying my very hardest to get rid of you lot, so you know exactly how this works. So this story, there was a niece of one of my followers in Perth, that's in Western Australia. She was in Adelaide University. She was studying dentistry. But like many young women, for whatever cause, she started to have severe anxiety attacks, panic attacks. She went to see a local GP who referred her to a psychologist, but nothing was helping her. She was getting worse and worse and worse until it got so bad that she was bedridden. She was literally too scared to get outside of her bedroom, let alone go to university lectures. She couldn't even go out to do any shopping or go anywhere. It was such a severe case of anxiety. Doctors, psychologists were hopeless. So as a last resort, which is usually what happens, you usually go to your spiritual resources as a last resort instead of one of the first resorts. Hopefully, in our modern age, we can look back upon some of our traditions and make use of those as well, because medicine can only go so far. So her uncle gave me a call and told me the situation, and I told him to get his niece to give me a call from her bedroom. She couldn't go out of the house, but she could certainly call somebody on a phone. And so when she told me her situation, the first thing I did, hello, welcome. Very good. Please find a nice seat. Very good. And relax. So one of the first things I asked her is, how often do you have those anxiety attacks? And she said many times a day, which was one of the reasons she couldn't leave her bedroom, because she never knew when she was going to have a panic attack. And it was so debilitating that she froze and couldn't move, couldn't talk anything, couldn't say anything. So she was embarrassed so many times leaving her house that she would not leave her home at all. So many times a day, she said, and then I asked her, and this is the first part of the therapy, where do you feel that anxiety in your body? Because you all know, and this is an important thing to know as a health professional, that every emotion you have in your mind has a counterpart physical feeling somewhere in your body. If you get angry, you can feel a particular sensation somewhere in your body. It's not always located in the same place. If you're afraid, you have another type of sensation. If you're in love, you have another type of sensation. The mental part of your physiology has an effect on your body, and every different emotion has a physical counterpart to it. That's an important thing to know. And if you don't believe me, just check it out for yourself. Now, of course, most people are so unaware of their own body. They're so busy, they don't actually know that. So in this particular case, this woman did not know at first the counterpart feeling in her body to her severe anxiety. So I asked her, now I want you to find out where in your body you feel anxiety. And that's your job for the next couple of days. When you find out, give me another call. So I gave her something to do. The other important part with any therapy is don't just be the doctor or the counselor. The person has to take a part, take a share in their therapy. They have to take control of their treatment. If you just give it to them and give it to them, become so passive, it never works. And also they just become losing their self-confidence, the inability to actually look after themselves. You're just giving it to them all the time. It's an important principle that every client of yours has to do something, has to take some action in whatever therapy they're receiving. So that was her job. Find out and tell me. 2 days later, she gave me a call. She said she felt it in her chest. I said, exactly where? That's not specific enough. And actually she said, just a couple of inches below here, a bit to the left. That's where she felt it. And to me, that was fulfilling the first stage of this therapy. She was beginning to become mindful, aware of the feeling enough to tell me where it was located. But that was not sufficient mindfulness. Mindfulness is becoming aware, knowing what's actually happening. And I asked her, now describe that feeling to me. It's tense. That is not good enough. I want more detail. Give me a call in a couple of days where you can explain that to me in detail. So I was giving her some work to do, a test to do, that whenever she felt anxiety, she had to know it, be mindful of it so much that she could actually tell me in detail what it felt like. Now, I don't know if there's any of you who are doctors here, nurses here, or psychologists, but you know it's one of the most difficult things to find out what a person is feeling. You ask them, what is it like? They say, it hurts. Yeah, I know, but what does that mean? How much does it hurt? What does it hurt? What part of the body is sick? And we are so unaware of our bodies, and we haven't developed a good enough language to describe all these physical feelings which occur in our body in emotional or physical sickness. We just haven't got the words. And the reason we haven't got the words is because we haven't been aware of the feelings in our body. You all know the old story of the Eskimos have so many different names for snow, because they live in the snow, they work in the snow, and that's their world. And so they have developed a vocabulary which simply we don't have. So I had to force her to find a vocabulary based on her experience of what that anxiety felt like. In a couple of days, she was a very smart girl. She told me, and a very good detailed description of the pain, how it started, how it developed. And I realized, yes, okay, you fulfilled the mindfulness part of this therapy. You have become aware enough, not just superficially aware, but aware enough to give another person over the phone a detailed description of how you feel. A detailed one, and where you feel it. Now, the next part of the therapy was the kindness. Just being aware is the first step, and it's a powerful step, but you need to do something else. And then I told her that when you start experience those anxiety attacks, now you know where it is, now you know those feelings, take your hand and just kindly caress, massage that area with as much kindness and gentleness as you can possibly develop. And I told her, because she had a boyfriend, that was the only way she could really survive. This was one of those boys made in heaven. He would cook for her, he'd clean her clothes, look after her while she was bedridden. If any of you find a boy like that, get a ring from him or marry him as soon as possible, but they don't come very often in your life. So anyway, I told her, if you haven't got the energy to massage that area, get your boyfriend to massage it. That's what boyfriends are for. But do it with as much kindness and softness as you possibly can. Just like some of you, unfortunately it's not enough of you, may have had a really kind mother. And you may remember when you were sick, maybe in hospital, your mother would come, when you were a small girl or small boy, would come to your bedside to stroke your hair. And the fact she was there and being kind took away a huge proportion of the pain. My own story was growing up in London as a person in a poor home. I remember spending so much time playing soccer, in the street. Now, if you're playing soccer in a field, in a park, with grass and earth, if you go for a tackle, you're fine. But if you play it on stone pavement or on the asphalt road, when you go for a tackle, you scrape the skin off your knees. And my memories of my childhood was always having scabs on both knees from the tackles at football. I was always injuring myself. But I also remember every time I injured myself like that and you started getting blood coming out of your knee and it stung, I went to my mother and she would bend down and she called it kissing it better. And I talked to many other people. That's a very common thing, especially in UK in the old times. I'm not sure if you do that in Hong Kong. You have a wound and your mother just kisses it, puts a Band-Aid on, and then you're back playing soccer again. Because as soon as she kissed it, the pain vanished. And I remember that as a kid. Of course, I didn't know about sort of health issues and biology. It was just an experience. That little bit of kindness took away the pain. And to this day, I wonder how on earth that works, because what my mother was doing when I studied a bit of biology, my mother was putting a mouth full of germs on an open wound. And that is totally unhygienic. If you're a nurse, would you do that to one of your patients? Either you catch something or they catch something, and you catch hell from your supervisors as well. So, but that worked every time. No infections, pain disappearing. And that was giving me the first experience of the power of kindness. You know, from a mother, or maybe your father, or just a lover. You're really in pain, and they come and just hug you. And a lot of that pain vanishes. Why? And there is reasons for it. Oxytocins, endomorphins, or whatever else gets secreted into your bloodstream, but it works. So I told her, no, massage that area when you're very, very anxious. And that's what she did. And she gave me a call 2 or 3 days later. And I said, no, you have to still be practicing your mindfulness. Be aware of the feelings in your body. What happened, you know, when you or your boyfriend massaged that area when you had a panic attack? He said, oh, the physical feelings vanished. They disappeared. The physical feelings did. And that's when I got the light bulb moment from her, when she understood what I was doing this for. Yes, when your physical feelings vanished, what happened to your emotional anxiety? And I will never forget that pause on the telephone, maybe for about 10 seconds. You know, it was the light bulb moment when you understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. And she said, the anxiety vanished too. Exactly. Because many emotional problems, we are not skilled enough to deal with the emotional problems directly. You may say, let go of your fear. Just make peace with the anxiety, but you can't do that. What you can do is noticing that every emotion has a physical counterpart. Deal with the physical counterpart, which is not that hard to do, with kindness. Massage that area of the body, and when the physical counterpart vanishes, the cause, the emotion of anxiety, will also disappear at the same time. And she had her technique of mindfulness and kindness. And it's one of the stories I love telling because it has a very, very happy ending. Within about 3 weeks, she was out of bed, back to university. You know, she put in extra work. She got her first class honors in dentistry. And that boy who looked after her, she married him. And I did the service for them. And to this day, I am their monk who saved her life, literally. Now that was a technique, which is what kindfulness is all about. Kindfulness, kindness, and mindfulness together. And I've taught that for many years. And that was precisely what this doctor advised her patient, who had so much medication, nothing worked. A last resort, it should have been the first resort, but sometimes, you know, the doctors aren't allowed to try these treatments. But should have been the first. And she told her, when you have that panic attack, just massage that area of the body. And that meant the following morning, she said, I can breathe properly now. No more anxiety. So she could leave hospital a free woman. Now this is the power of the mindfulness and the kindness in your life. Now this was with physical problems. Now that sometimes, you know, that we do have all sorts of physical ailments in our body. And yeah, it's okay, you know, to use the medication. But you know, in old days, nurses, I'm not quite sure what it's like in Hong Kong. I live in Australia, where because the health system is just so overburdened and under-resourced, it means that people who are in the caring professions, they're supposed to be the caring professions of nursing, they don't really have the time to give that kindfulness to their patients. And that's one of the problems with our modern systems. We think that nurses are just there to administer the medication, to check the pulse or the blood pressure, and to check all the machines and write the reports afterwards. But the time you spend with a patient just caring for them is probably the most important job in a hospital. Because that kindness, that works as a therapy in and of itself. One of my friends, he was a professor of, hematology at one of our teaching hospitals in Western Australia. And he told me that being the head of hematology, a professor, very distinguished, one of his jobs was to treat people with cancers. And he knew intuitively that there was something missing in their treatment. Surgery was state-of-the-art, as was radiation therapy and chemotherapy. But these people are just being treated just like commodities, into the machine, irradiated, signing things afterwards. Thank you very much. Your next appointment is in 2 days' time. What they're missing is just that little bit of kindness. So what he did, he used his authority in the hospital to clear out a few rooms, and he turned that into an alternative therapy center, where any person undergoing any type of treatment for cancer, any type of cancer, could go into this center free of charge and get homeopathy, Reiki, reflexology, anything weird you could get in that place. And it was not that he believed in these alternative therapies in and of themselves. What he understood, and what I really admire him for, if someone is giving you a foot massage, say, they are caring for you for 30 minutes or however long you take. It doesn't really matter whether there's any physical effect of someone pressing their thumbs into your feet. The point is they're caring and they're spending time with you. He said that was the therapy which was important. And being a professor, having to defend his reputation as a scientist, he had to keep records of the progress of these patients who came into this alternative therapy center as compared to those who didn't. Actually to prove that something was working, something was happening in this alternative therapy center. And because of that, not this year, the year before, he was nominated as Australian of the Year. He was a West Australian representative. He didn't get it, but no, he was so highly respected because of that. He was introducing simple kindness and compassion into the treatments, of people with cancer. And I hope that you understand from your own experience of life, from your own intuition, how important that is. I mentioned it with the treatment of anxiety. I will now mention it with the treatment of insomnia. Because the same doctor, told me that she had the same success with another patient of hers who was having such difficulty with insomnia that she was hospitalized for the associated physical problems. Now, because of the stress of people in our modern world, insomnia is becoming more and more of a problem. And it's very easy to overcome that problem, with this mindfulness and kindness technique. You may try drugs. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. If they do work, it is just a crutch. You get addictions and side effects. It is not the very best treatment. Please forgive me if you've given that to your patients before. But this other treatment It is far less invasive, no side effects, and it gives you personal control over your body. You know how to relax and rest. And please listen, because this is one of the first exercises I'm going to be teaching you afterwards. You're going to practice this. And hopefully you don't go to sleep, because I'll be talking. But if you do, you know it works. And it's also, if it's not a physical condition, you know that sometimes we get so worried, something happens in our life, we lose a boyfriend, or, we finally going to get sacked from our work, or, somebody dies and we just can't sleep at night, we worry so much. This is what is a traditional meditation technique called sweeping meditation. And one of my friends, I often quote this, one of my friends in Sydney has been using this to make her fortune. As many people do. Any entrepreneurs here, already people are using mindfulness to make a lot of money. I think very recently, somebody said that Kabat-Zinn and some other guy was here in Hong Kong charging $50,000 or something, or $5,000. They learn it from people like me. And they charge the earth. You get it from the source here. So these are source teachings, the best, and it's also far cheaper. It's 200 Hong Kong. And they have to, that goes to the hospital, not me, because I have to charge for this room. So this is great value for money, considering what other people give you, and they're sort of disciples of mine. So, but this lady, I don't mind people making money out of these things, as long as the main point is they care for people and they cure people. They lessen the suffering, of anxiety or sleeplessness, insomnia in our world. It's terrible to see someone who hasn't slept, for days. That is torture. They use that in places like Guantanamo Bay to torture people. Sleep deprivation. It's cruel and unusual treatment of a human being. It's worse than using thumb screws or these other things they used to do in olden times. It really is painful. So, how does this work, this sweeping meditation? It's awareness and kindness again, the kindfulness. So, don't keep looking at me, those of you who are staring at me now. If you've got your eyes closed, that's fine. I now want you to become aware of your toes. Don't look at them. Just be aware of them. Can you notice any feeling at all in your toes? If it's difficult, move your toes. And start becoming mindful of that single area of your body called your toes. Any feeling whatsoever. Now we call that making contact between your mind and one of probably the furthest part of your body, your toes. Can you notice any feeling there? Now you notice, if you keep mindfulness to the feelings in your toes, you notice that feeling will change. Now see if you can change it to a more comfortable, relaxed feeling. Will your toes to relax. The first time you do this, you'll be surprised that there are sensations in your toes. You haven't really been aware of them. Now you're making awareness. They do change. And you'll learn what relaxes your toes is an attitude of kindness. And after a few seconds, you should be able to feel a sensation which you can recognize as relaxation, ease. You're relaxing your own toes. Now, we're not starting the meditation yet, so you can open your eyes. We're not starting yet. This is just a description. And from that, you move to your feet. Can you notice any sensations in your feet? And when you're aware of any sensation anywhere in your feet, again you give it kindness, like the attitude of kissing a wound better, the attitude of someone stroking your hair or giving you a hug when you really feel in pain. you'll find that that kindness relaxes all the feelings in your feet. We don't usually understand that tension is throughout our whole body. So we go to our feet, we relax that first of all. And then we move up to our ankles. We relax the ankles, to your calves, to your knees, to your thighs, to your bottom, and up through the rest of your body. I'm not going to go further because usually people who try this technique for insomnia, before they get to their bottom, they're fast asleep. And they wake up in the morning at last refreshed. Because one of the reasons why people can't go to sleep, insomnia, is tensions, worries, anxieties, fears, which are locked into the body. And the body aches. It has a pain in it, which stops you going to sleep. It's like many people, it may be too cold in Hong Kong last night. You couldn't go to sleep. You didn't have enough blankets. Or sometimes it's too hot and you can't go to sleep. If the body is not comfortable, you can't get sleep. So by relaxing some of the innate pain in your own body, which has been there for so long, sometimes you don't even realize it's there, you relax so much that the body lets you go to sleep. That's actually how it works. And that lady who's been using this technique, she taught it over the internet. She started a .com company called sleeplikeababy.com. And she told me she has 100% success rate, 100%. It always works. And of course, she's made her fortune in life. They're simply teaching something which I am undercutting her market, giving it out for free, simply because she's already made enough money. And I want these techniques to go out there into the world to help people with their lives. A simple relaxation of your own body. The trouble is, when we say relax, you don't know how to do it. You think you do, which is a problem. But you haven't done it carefully, stage by stage, properly, which is why in many human beings there's incredible amount of tightness and tension, and insomnia is only one of the results of a very tense body which can never relax. Mindfulness and kindness together are the cause of relaxation. That's why someone might give you a shoulder massage. Please, if you ever give a shoulder massage, don't follow the books on what you're supposed to press and how hard. Just for goodness sake, be kind. And whatever kindness you have, that will go into that person. That will relax the muscles and create a sense of ease in that tense person's shoulders. It's the kindness which works. So, you will also know this. I don't know where you work, but you know, you're very lucky if you have a very kind boss. But in any institution, there's always bosses from hell. And you're laughing now because you're probably thinking about one now. Now, when a boss from hell comes into the room, how do you react? You tense up. You don't relax at all. It's, you know, the system, you know, produces adrenaline. It's fight or flight, you know, whatever you can do to avoid that boss from hell. You really get too tense. But if a very kind person comes into the room, a compassionate person, how do you feel? You relax. Can you understand this kindness, compassion, what it is? That is the secret for relaxation. And mindfulness gives you the feedback to know whether the relaxation is happening or not, whether it really is kindness or whether you're just playing. So the two together are the key to relaxation. And with relaxation, you get incredibly good health. So, I'm now going to do a little exercise where you're going to relax your bodies, the whole of your body. It's going to take about, what time is it? About half an hour, which is a good time, and then we have a bit of questions before the first break. Now, to be kind to you, some of you are sitting on the floor and already just moving your legs, so everyone stand up, please. And stretch, especially the old ones. So you can really get your body nice and loose. Backwards and forwards. Don't follow other people. You just stretch the way you want to stretch. Because you're going to be sitting down for about half an hour. You don't have too many aches and pains in the body. So we look after it. Anyone who likes to sit on a chair can sit on a chair. And I've just noticed there's 2 armchairs over there. Smart people will go into those. If I didn't have my own chair over here, I'd be in one of those. So if you really want to be kind to yourself and relax, armchair. I'm really surprised. People don't understand. Well, why can't you sit in an armchair over there? It's nice and comfy. Okay, well, I warned you. Okay, so let's go and sit down now. Now, meditation doesn't have to be done in the sitting posture. If you've got some clients and they're not comfortable sitting on a chair or sitting on the ground, they can lie in their beds and do this technique. And obviously, the people with insomnia, they do this lying down in the bed. The patient with anxiety was also in a hospital bed. So it doesn't have to be sitting down, okay? The idea that meditation has to be done in full lotus with a straight back, with your hands in this position or that position, that is a myth. Okay, so sit down wherever you're comfy. Okay, so when you're ready, just close the eyes. Okay, now when the eyes are closed, now adjust your posture. Because when your eyes are open, you're too distracted. You can't give the full attention to your body. So the first step, before we even start this body sweeping, is a general awareness of your body. How are your feet now? Can you make your feet more comfortable? If you want to adjust them, move them this way or that way, please do so. How's your bottom, your buttocks on the seat or on the ground? Please fidget. Fidgeting is nature's way of you finding the most comfortable position. And after fidgeting, how's your back? You don't have to lean up 90 degrees. You can lean back if you wish, or to the side. It's up to you. You find, with your mindfulness, the most comfortable position for you right now. And the most comfortable position is not always the same every time. And your hands, you can put your hands wherever you want. If they're prosthetics, you can take them off if you want. Same with your head. Just make sure it's as comfortable as you possibly can make it. Too often we rush the preliminaries. When a builder doesn't spend enough time on the foundations, the building goes up very quickly and falls over very quickly. So just get your body as comfortable as you can possibly make it. Now, when you think you're relaxed, you're not. But this is the best you can do so far. Now, can you be aware of any feeling in your toes? Any sensations will do. If you can't find the sensation, move your toes, or even with your fingers touch the toes, if you can reach them. Until there is some sensation anywhere in the toe area which you are aware of. That's called making contact, establishing mindfulness with your toes. And as before, relax your toes. If there's any tight feeling in that area of your body, imagine it loosening. If there's any squashed, painful contractions, expand them. Spending 1 or 2 minutes just focusing on your toes and nothing else, with the job of relaxing with kindness your own toes. And see if you can notice a feeling of ease, of comfort. What I call in my body a tingling feeling of relaxation, just in my toes. And then bring your awareness to your feet. Can you notice any sensation in the heels, in the soles, the uppers, in the bones? Any sensation in your feet now? Once you can be aware of a sensation, your mind has made contact with your feet. Now add kindness. Wish your feet to relax, to open out any tensions, to feel, amazingly so, a state of peace, openness, freedom, comfort in your own feet. What is that feeling like? See if you can get to know it like the girl with anxiety, to know it more and more completely, to investigate the feelings in your feet, still being kind to them. Mindfulness gives you the opportunity for feedback, and the feedback will tell you whether your feet are relaxing, getting more tense or not changing. If they're getting more tense or not changing, you haven't got the kindness part down yet. Just being aware of your feelings in your feet. Then you can move your awareness to your ankles. Your ankles take all the weight of your body to transfer it to your feet. There can be a lot of tension and even injury to ankles. So can you notice any sensation, any feeling whatsoever in the area of your ankles? Know that feeling, and then give it kindness. Will the ankles to relax, the feelings to open out, to become more comfortable, more easy, less tight. Until you have that same type of tingling, relaxed feeling. Maybe some of you have soaked your feet in warm water after a walk or a run, and the feet get so relaxed. Same sort of feeling, just by awareness and kindness. And then move the attention up to your calves, to the great muscles in the back of your lower legs, the skin, the bones. Can you notice any sensation at all in the area above your ankles, below your knees? You're just making contact with that part of your body. And once you've made contact, once you are aware of those sensations, you can give them kindness, kissing them better, massaging them with your mind, till any tightness is released. Just like an elastic band which has been pulled on either end is now let go, and it goes back to its usual soft, pliable self. Or a sponge which has been squashed, you let go of the pressure and the sponge expands to its natural light, fluffy, original shape. It's what you can imagine the muscles in your legs to be like. Sponges which have been squashed, elastic bands which have been overstretched. Give kindness. Relax the lower legs. And mindfulness will tell you, yes, it's becoming more and more comfortable. And once the lower legs are relaxed, you move to your knees. Can you notice any feelings and sensations in your knees? That's called making contact. Now add compassion, kindness, love. And notice sensations get easy, free, relaxed and comfortable because of mindfulness together with kindness. So you're just focusing on your knees and you are willing them to relax. And they do. And now you move up to your thighs. Huge, massive muscles. There's a lot of tightness and tension in people's thighs. Can you notice any sensation in your thighs? It's made contact. Now give it kindness. Will all those muscles to relax, recover, recuperate, re-energize. Just be kind to them. You're just focusing on one area of the body, just your thighs, so that all that energy can learn how to relax the body systematically. Mindfulness allows you to have feedback, noticing sensations changing, and giving you the ability to learn how to relax. And once the thighs are relaxed, just notice the whole of your legs, from the top of your thighs to the tip of your toes, relaxed. Maybe deeper than you've ever relaxed them before. It feels like they're at ease and comfortable. And now move to your buttocks. You should be very easy to notice the feeling, especially of pressure of your body pressing against the chair or the cushion or the floor. Surprisingly, you can even relax that feeling too. Just notice the sensation and be kind. And see if you can relax and bring to a deeper state of comfort the feelings in your buttocks. And then move the attention up to your waist. And it's not just the outside of your waist, but all the organs, this part of the spine, contained in your waist area. Can you notice any sensations there? Any feelings whatsoever? Focus on that feeling and see if you can relax it. Giving it kindness. Relaxing the muscles, the colon, the anus, the bottom of the spine. Relaxing all that area. And see if you can notice the feeling in and around your waist move to deeper and deeper states of peace and relaxation. I'm going to move quite fast, but if you have any part of your body which is sick and needs attention, if you feel there's a problem there as I sweep up the body, you can linger and relax these places even more deeply. So above the waist, maybe 2 inches above the waist, below your chest, move your attention to there. There, you may have the intestines, the livers, kidneys, that part of your spine. There's also so many important organs there, even your stomach, bottom of the lungs. Put your attention there. Can you notice any feeling whatsoever? Once you notice a feeling, again you can relax it, just with kindness. Just like taking that part of your body and putting on the softest of cotton cushions, with no tension, no tightness, nothing being pulled or pushed. Totally open and relaxed. That's called giving it kindness. As you relax the area below your chest and above your waist. And now you move up to your chest. There you have such organs as the heart, top of the lungs, spine, and really importantly for the females, you have your breasts. I use this technique for breast cancer patients. Can you notice any feelings or sensations in that area of your body? Any sensation will do, hot, cold, an ache, anything. That's just making contact, creating the connection between your awareness and that single part of your body. That allows you to give it kindness, to relax it. And those people suffering from breast cancer, they could feel tightnesses in their breasts, knots. You focus on those and you relax them with kindness, expanding, softening, letting them just go. Because compassion, kindness does that. It relaxes anything, takes away the hardness, softens, allows healing to come in. As you relax all that part of your body around your chest. And the feedback given by mindfulness should be able to let you know that things are actually changing. You are becoming more relaxed. Now move the attention up to your shoulders. It's always got lots of tension there. No need to move them. Just be aware first of all. Notice any sensation whatsoever in your shoulders. And once you've made contact, then relax. Relax them with kindness. And notice the feelings in your shoulders again change. They become more open, more at ease. There's not so much tightness because you're not holding things tightly. The kindness is loosening everything. And now you can sweep the attention down to your lower arms and the elbows as well, all in one, arms and elbows. Can you notice any feeling, sensation there? That's making contact. Now relax that feeling. There's parts of the body we forget to relax. Relax, relax, relax. And the sensation becomes more easy, more free, more peaceful, more tingly. And then you move the attention down to your lower arm, your wrist, your hands, all in one. Can you notice any sensations there? Having made contact, will that part of the body to relax to the max. Being so kind It's as if your arms are just dangling in warm water. With no tightness, no pressure, nothing to do. Totally free and at ease. And the mindfulness of your hands and arms gives you that feedback, allowing you to relax to a deeper state than you probably ever relaxed before. Now just notice the whole of the body from the neck down, probably more relaxed than for many days, if not longer. Now you go to your neck. It's amazing just how much tightness and tension there is in people's necks. Can you be aware of those feelings in your neck or your throat? Once you've made contact, be kind, send it love, kindness. And notice the sensations and feelings really change towards more ease and more comfort. As you relax everything there. Now move your attention up to your face. The face has got a lot of tension around its eyes and mouth. Can you make contact with any muscles in your face? Feeling them, and then willing them to relax out of kindness. So your face learns how to relax as well. Stops meaning you have to use medication for wrinkles. You can relax your own face, focusing on it, getting feedback from awareness, and learning how to relax everything. And now 2 inches behind the eyes is your brain. You're not supposed to feel anything, but you can. I don't know whether it's imagination or real. But can you put your awareness 2 or 3 inches behind your eyes to your brain? And can you notice any feeling, sensation there, even imaginary ones? Once you've made contact, once you have awareness of that area of the body, only then can you relax it. So imagine relaxing your own brain, which has been so overworked with thinking and making decisions. And notice the feeling in the brain area. Get more comfortable, more at ease. As you're relaxing with kindness your own brain. This is a great way to overcome headaches. And then before we leave this meditation, can you notice your whole body, complete now from the top of your head to the tip of your toes? Relaxed, at ease, comfortable. And you feel how healthy this is, and how it will be so easy to have drifted off into a very deep and restful sleep. Now please open your eyes to end the exercise. I don't know about you, but if there was a pillow around, I'd be fast asleep now. So now that's the first little exercise on kindfulness today. I call it kindfulness. I invent new words. Mindfulness together with kindness. And this is a way to relax your body. It's not only good for going to sleep at night, but it's also you feel so much healthier afterwards. When the body's relaxed, it can get to good health. But this morning, I was only just focusing on using this to overcome insomnia. And I did mention a certain area of the body for anxiety. And also, what makes people really excited in Australia, breast cancers. I don't know what the rate of breast cancers in women are in Hong Kong, but it's scary. And, you feel for people with breasts that, I don't know, is it 20%, 25% or something? It's huge. It's a terrible thing to go through. And this can assist, if not overcome. Because you can feel tightnesses, imbalances in those breasts. How often are you aware of that part of your own body? You can feel it there. And you can relax it. You can give it energy. And you can feel healing happening. Simply because you're aware and you're kind. And I'll give you some more examples of that later on this afternoon. But now is opportunity for some questions and comments about the exercise just now. Please be honest, did anyone find that difficult to do? Was there any difficulties, or was that you could follow the instructions okay? Because you find in modern life we are not aware of our own bodies, which is one of the reasons why it takes a while to really get to know your own body, bit by bit. And even those people who have problems with, say, their liver or their kidneys. I don't know why this works, whether there are actually nerve endings there, but you can actually feel there's an ache or a pain there. And you can relax it. And you can take the ache and pain and it just vanishes. Because of the kindness, the awareness and kindness, it does actually miraculously, or just maybe some reason behind it, it does actually heal. And there's many anecdotal evidence as how powerful this is. Things go away. So anyway, we've got 10 minutes before we stop for lunch. Now, up to you to question me about this particular technique. Yes. Yes. Good question. If there's some pain in one part of the body, should you just linger there and relax it? Yes, certainly please do so. Because it's amazing how powerful that can be. So when I did the sweeping exercise, this was just an exercise for you to get you to understand how this works in general. You adapt it for your own needs. So if there's part of your body which is really aching, you may have a problem with your knees. Recently, a couple of weeks ago, I went to Bhutan. And there's one part in Bhutan, is this climb up Tiger's Nest, which is really, really steep. Anyone been up to Tiger's Nest? Yeah, a couple of you. You know how steep it is. So, my knees and legs were really aching after going up there and coming down again. So that's what I did. I had a sore knee, really focused on it with as much awareness as possible, was kind to it, and you could feel it relax. In the morning, I was fine. So that's what you do if it's an injury or an ache in the body. If you've just had an operation somewhere and you've got a scar, you're aware of that pain, that scar, that gash in your body. Put your awareness there and give it the kindness. I never mentioned the kindness helps you keep your awareness there. It's much easier to spend time with someone who's kind. So you're kind to the area, it makes your mindfulness stay there, and also the kindness relaxes everything, which does mean that it heals very, very fast. Because, when you have pain, we tense up. And when we tense up, it blocks, whatever needs to go there and do the healing. So it's great if any of you treating someone who's just had some sort of operation, a hysterectomy or some sort of bowel operation, please, just be aware of that part of the body. It reminds me of this story of a person who had a bowel operation in Australia. I don't know if it's the same here in Hong Kong, but when they came out of the anesthetic, or they sort of woke up, they complained to the nurse of a headache and a swelling on their head. And the nurse said, you must be imagining this. We never touched that part of the body, even though it's just a small keyhole operation in your tummy to fix up something in your bowel. She said, look, I've got a splitting headache. Please give me something. And the nurse said, well, I'll check on you. And she could feel a swelling and feel that there's a bit of a heat in that part of the body. So she went straight to the specialist. There's some complication happening here. I know there's a bowel operation, but he's got a swelling on his head and a splitting headache. And the surgeon said, oh, yeah, that's to be expected, because halfway through the operation, we ran out of anesthetic. That's a joke, because many medical authorities have to cut costs. Do you understand the joke? Hit them on the head because they're run out of anesthetic. That's just a joke. Okay, any serious questions? Yes.
So basically, thanks. So I couldn't feel anything on the lower part of the body.
Yeah.
I did have an ache slightly
Yeah.
in the chest area. And yeah, it worked. Like, it just completely, like, as I was applying the kindness, it was dissolving, like, it's gone. Like,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah.
So it's great when you have those experiences, because when you hear it told by another person, yeah, it's sort of interesting. But when it really works for you, this is not interesting, this is important.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, even I look at the correlation of what you're teaching with what I do. I do pranic healing, and we're actually just healing with kindness. I mean, that's exactly what we're doing.
Exactly, and that's just what most doctors are doing. I basically, you all know the placebo effect. And, sometimes you wonder what medication actually does. I remember reading this really scary experiment which was done in the United States with people with knee problems. I don't know how they got permission to do this in the US of all places, with no lawyers and malpractice suits. Some of the patients, they gave them the proper knee operations. The other half of the patients, they just did the incision and then sewed it up again immediately. They did absolutely nothing to the knee. But those people just had the incision, never told them. Those people, they thought they had the full operation, and they saw the scar there, and they got better. The power of the mind is huge. And whether it's pranic healing, or whether it's mindfulness or kindfulness, it is powerful. But especially the awareness, get your energy or your attention on that part of the body, pranic healing, whatever else, and a bit of a massage. Because when someone's touching me, I'm aware of that. And the kindness is also really important.
Yeah. So how does one develop that automatic way of time? Because normally it's like all negative that just shows up automatically.
This is one way where you learn what kindness is. Because everybody thinks they know what kindness is, what compassion is, what love is. And we assume we know. So you take an ache and pain in the body. see what works, what relaxes it, what heals it, what takes away the pain. That is love. That is kindness. That is care. So from this exercise, you're not only healing your body, but you're really learning what compassion, love is. It's because it's a word which is used so commonly that we assume we know everything about it. But this is a byproduct of this technique. You start to understand what care and love really is. I was giving a talk to some business people yesterday, and they were telling me that there are bullies in the office, but the bullies don't realize they're bullies. They think they're being kind. Now, you may think that that is ridiculous, but that is actually the way things are. That's true. They don't realize the effect they have on other people. So at least you're realizing whether you are a bully to your own body. In other words, forcing your body, just telling your body to do what it can't do, being unkind to your body, because then you feel that's tense. And you feel what kindness is, because you know its result. It's beautiful relaxation and ease. And if you can practice learning what kindness is on your own body, then you might be able to do it to somebody else. You might learn how to have a relationship instead of always messing up with your boyfriends and girlfriends and husbands and wives. You may know what kindness is. Have you been in a relationship and you always feel tense and afraid? Why? Because people aren't being kind to you. They may say, I love you, darling, but they don't know what they're talking about. And that's why you feel tense and tired and stressed. So you're learning a lot from these techniques. I don't care whether it's pranic healing or the love of God or whatever it is, it works. Find out, feel it. And then when it works, that's the main thing. Because I just want people to be healthy and happy. So good question. Got something? Yeah.
I find it interesting that when you ask us to feel the toes, I find it very different. At first, I find it difficult to feel the toes. But then I try to be so-called mindfulness on the toes and find it is moving, but it doesn't seem like I am moving it. It's just the toes, they move. I don't know why. And the second thing is when it start moving up to the calf, the knees, I don't know how to apply so-called kindness to them. But then I remember you told about the story, your mother kissing your knees. So all I can do is, okay, I just kiss them. But what I find that the more moving up, one interesting feeling is I find the body is feeling very heavy. Just don't know why. Is there an explanation for that?
Okay. At this particular part of the exercise, you don't have to know why it feels heavy or why they move. The interesting thing is you can be aware of your body and aware of parts of your body, and just how difficult it is at first, to be aware of your toes. That's part of your body, but we don't pay hardly any attention to it at all. Now, the reason I start with the toes is because they're not that important. You don't have to worry whether you're that mindful or not mindful. But as you sweep up the body, by the time you get up to your waist area, where all these incredible organs are, hopefully by that time your awareness has built up. You've got an understanding of what this awareness is. And also at the same time, you're learning how to relax your own body. And whatever relaxes your own body, you'll discover that is kindness. if you order, control, or afraid, that tenses things up. The mindfulness allows you to see how things change. I call it feedback. It allows you to find out what works. Now the second thing is, I don't expect anyone to become an expert on this the first time they do it. Like everything else, it is a practice which you repeat, and with repetition you get more and more skilled. You become more aware of your own body, more aware of how to relax it, and more understanding of what the kindness is. So this is an exercise which you don't expect a person to be able to do 100% the first time. But it's an important exercise because you do become much more aware of your own body in which you live and move and sleep and breathe. And it also, the beautiful thing, you know how to be relaxed. And now you can do that at any time. You know, you're really tensed up at work, or you're angry at somebody. How does people deal with the emotions of anger? Feel it in the body. Don't feel it in the mind, because that confuses you. You know, maybe in your tummy somewhere. Get out your hand and really massage it. Awareness, you know how to be kind, and you find you relax it away very quickly. It gives you control over your body and also control over your emotions, especially the negative ones. Those are powerful, but it takes practice. And obviously with that practice, you become very skilled. And as for your toes moving, much of the body moves without you telling it. The autonomous nervous system, the autonomous body, you breathe. You never tell the body to breathe, it just does it. Much of it. And also, that's another part of the body. Another thing you learn, that most of the body is out of control anyway. We just get in its way. And when we start getting its way, we stop it moving when it wants to. That's usually when we get in trouble. But in particular, just to sum up before we go out for lunch, the main point for this first part of today, the exercise in sweeping, awareness of the body, that's mindfulness, and adding the kindness, dealing with anxieties and other emotions, creating better health for yourself, and especially effective for anyone with insomnia, or any friends you know with insomnia. Tell them that sweeping exercise. And my goodness, you know, even I felt sleepy when I was teaching you. And you can go to sleep without the need of any of the chemicals. Okay, so thanks again, and we're back again at 12:30, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, MC?
Yes, so now we will thank you very much, Ajahn, for this morning's teaching first. So now we'll have the lunch break. May I first invite everybody to stand up again, and we raise our palms to, and we invite Ajahn and all the monastic members to have lunch first in the small room outside. And the monastic members, you can also. So please be seated. Some announcements before we have the lunch break. And in a moment, we have prepared all the lunch boxes and the drinks outside already. So I will invite everybody in a moment to line up and get the lunch box from outside, from the table outside. Some small reminders. So may I invite everybody to take to bring along with you all your valuable personal belongings with you. And if you have some small items like jackets or shoes, so on, you can leave it here. And our lunch break will start from now until 12:30. So you can during this time, you can either have your lunch here in this room, or either we can also recommend you take the lift up to the 8th floor, where we have an open air small garden there, where you can enjoy your lunch and have some practices there too. So and also, if during the break you have any questions, please you can get a piece of question sheets from our volunteers, and you can please feel free to write them down, and we can pass it to Arjan in a moment, so that Arjan can answer your questions. So if there is no more questions, we can start the lunch break now. So may I invite everybody to line up outside and get the lunch boxes. So we will resume at 12:30. Thank you.
Sorry, what floor is the open space?
8th floor.